Hey, this is Davin with Hagerty and our Redline Rebuild updates. And today we have our 57 Cadillac engine completely stripped apart, and it is still greasy and grimy and all that, but we're gonna start getting that fixed. First thing I'm going to do, I kinda wanna understand where the bores sit as far as what is it gonna take to clean up the bores for new pistons and such. So I have my mics out and my comparator, and I have it set up to a 4-inch bore is the stock size. So I'm curious, to see where this is at. So I have this set up so it's going to measure a 4-inch bore at 0. Anything this side of 0 is larger. Anything this side is smaller. So tipping this around, I get about 2.5 thousandths larger than 4-inch. So it's wore by that amount. Not a big deal at all, but we're gonna certainly go through and clean it up and make sure everything is nice and tidy from that aspect. All right, so we have some scuffing in that on the skirts of the pistons, not necessarily horrific, but while I'm here, I might as well put fresh pistons in it, make sure it has a fresh bore, obviously use some brand new rings, good tension, all that sort of thing. Given the past year, there's been a lot of issues relative to getting parts availability and so on and so forth because no one's making anything. And I'm curious to see what happens relative to the ring situation and of course pistons. So I think they're available, but we'll find out for sure. Mainly, I'm gonna get all this stuff washed off in our Gladiator parts washer and take them over to Thoroughby's, get them to inspect them and start the baking process to bake all the grease and grime and the stuff that I can't get off, completely off. And then we'll have a better idea, obviously, where that bore's at. They'll start cutting it and going through that machining process, along with the cylinder head and rods and all that. So from here, we gotta take all of our stuff and get it over to Thoroughby's and get it in process. That's it. That's the plan. All right, so I'm looking at my exhaust manifolds and I need to have them tumbled, but before I have them tumbled, I need to take out these studs that are in the manifold. My concern is that they're going to be rotted or basically welded into the housing that they're in, and to get them out, what I'm gonna do is use a torch, heat up these edges extremely hot. As the cast iron grows with the temperature, it'll actually release, or the ID will get larger, so the stud will have a little more room to work and basically relieve its tension around the outer diameter. So heating it swells it out, and then utilize a pair of nuts jammed together, and hopefully they'll just, after that heat's in there, I'll be able to just back them out with one of the nuts, and the stud will come out, and then obviously do the same thing on the other one. bum, bum, bum. Whoops.
I've done that so many times.
Every time. Every time when I back up. Okay.
See how busy we get.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Whoever shot it last, and I know I'm sure it's not factory, did a pretty decent job.
What'd you get brushes with?
Washer?
You don't have air over there?
No.
Didn't even blow it out?
No. So I think, and there's no rust. I mean, there's obviously a little surface rust right now, but there was no rust or anything like that in it.
I
So
just plan on doing 30 and
Okay.
being done with it.
I looked real fast for what it's worth, and Speedway showed they had pistons. You know, the valves themselves can be cleaned up.
Yeah. Face them. You'd be okay with facing
Yeah,
these
I think so.
instead
On
of 20
this,
some.
yeah.
Instead of 20 some.
Because we're not doing any. This is bone stock. So
So if they're salvageable, go ahead and.
I think so. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I'm gonna guess the seats probably need to be,
Oh, yeah.
cleaned up. All right, well, you can see we're all unloaded out of the pickup truck. We got our parts in line with everything else. Quickly talking with Joey, we got to line up some pistons to fit into the bore. It looks like 30 over. We'll take care of it. Need to understand where the crankshaft's at so we can get our bearings brought in, and then see what availability is going to be on valves, or whether we have to try to salvage these or get some different ones, and of course what condition the seats are in. But until we can get these tore down and get through the line here, then we're kind of stuck in a waiting game as far as we're concerned. And but I'm going to take that opportunity to get back over at the shop and get all the steel, sheet metal, all that type of stuff, tin work, all sandblasted and ready for paint, or off the powder coat and off the Cerakote and all those types of things. So we're going to keep this ball rolling. So as I truck on back to the shop, you need to get in your shop, get your work done, because it's a beautiful day out. Go enjoy. See ya.